I'm taking a strap. I'm strapped up.
What's happening? What was that about?
Let's make the fight happen. We strapped the fuck up.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 161 of the SZN Podcast. I'm your boy Kam.
Your boy Flowz.
And as always, guys, before we kick off the episode, my usual housekeeping message. Please head over to SZN Podcast, which is our Instagram page, or SZN Pod, which is our Twitter page. There's a link in the bio on both of those pages there, which will take you to where we're situated at streaming-wise. So if audio is your steez, you've got the, obviously, Spotify, Apple Podcasts links there as well. And if you like visuals, YouTube link is also there. Make sure you give us a like, subscribe, all that good stuff, please, guys. Flowz, how you doing? You good?
I'm good, bro. What you saying?
Yeah, man, I'm good, man. I'm good. It's been a good weekend of boxing. We got some interesting results to talk about. Bro, let's dive straight in, man.
Yeah.
You know what we're gonna start with. Hey, we ain't got standard ceremony here, man. Joyce, Zhang, part 2. Flowz, he's been banged out again, isn't he?
Yeah, legit.
He's been banged out again, man. Damn. It's funny because we were both wrong on this occasion. We said it would be we thought it would be revenge. That was the main question for everyone, really, repeat or revenge. The signs sort of told us a little bit that revenge is on the cards here. But goodness me, Flowz, from the opening bell, even. Let me be harsh. Let me even say the opening bell, because jumping straight in, Flowz, we were very clear in what we said that Joyce had to do, right?
Yeah.
Don't stand there and not move your head.
Yeah.
Don't just plod forward. Be a bit light on your feet. Boom, boom, boom. So going off that, off the instructions that I think the whole world, including himself, sort of knows he must approach this fight with. How surprised were you, Flowz? Were you surprised at all, or did you hold anything to the account when you found out that obviously he's coming in at a career heaviest? Did that play into anything for you?
Yeah, it surprised me because it seemed counterintuitive, if that makes sense. But he had these reasons. His reasons were that he felt no power in his punches and such. And that's what he was saying.
I thought his reasons were fair, if you ask me.
Yeah. Once he said his reasons, I was like, okay, fair enough. And he means business. He feels like, if he had more power and stuff, he could have hurt Zhang a bit more. So when he said that, I was like, cool. Because he came in career lightest against Zhang first time, right?
Yeah.
But so initially when I heard that, it was concerning because it was like, you've gone from lightest to heaviest, put on a bunch of weight. But when he said these reasons, I was like, okay. For me, as I was like, it's just going to make for an entertaining fight for sure.
Yeah.
Because Zhang came in heavier than last time as well. So
yeah.
I was like, I know what this is going to be.
Slobber knocker, right?
Walk him, sock him.
So, for me, I didn't play into it at all, Flowz. I mean, I think with some fighters know their bodies the best, right? They know, some fighters just know that they can operate fine, heavier or lighter. He's tried the light thing. When he said, it was just more for the power thing. He really wants to sit down his punches and really punish Zhang and hurt him. I thought, that's fair enough. You have a good engine regardless. So you've operated at heavyweights before and you've been shown you've got a good engine and you can keep going. So you packing on the extra pounds, I don't think it's going to be too much. So for me, it's not a weight issue. Inherently, clearly. What I'm getting at, Flowz, is obviously we've seen Joyce how he's opening round 1. And to me, in that first one, he did the right things. Obviously, you saw him circling towards go towards the left, which is the standard move you do against a southpaw, right, Flowz? These are the basics, right? They teach you, but when you're facing the southpaw, you circle to the left to avoid his hands. So he was doing that in that first one. I thought, okay, cool. You're not really moving me, but that is, I guess, a right start, right? Keep doing this. You can sort of negate that jab and you can, really start to then rank up the pressure. So I'm looking at that in the first one thinking, okay, good start. Nice. That's what we want to see. Keep doing it. Flowz, tell me why Joyce reverted to type after one round. Because after that first round, Flowz, that game plan was gone. We've seen Zhang be like, cool, let's go for it then. And just explode into action. Remember what we said? We said Zhang's going to come fast. He has to come fast because we know Zhang in the later rounds, it's not where he's strongest because he's got no engine. So we knew Zhang was going to start fast. And that second round, he decided to explode into action. And then what the return of the old Joyce, Flowz. Head movement going out the window, plodding forward, and just getting pieced up every single time. Zhang in that second round exploded into action and applied the pressure. And Joyce, to me, didn't want to know Flowz. He was all over. He was a mess. He was a mess, bro. From that second round onwards, I said, yo, boy, it's gonna be a long night. It's gonna be a long night. Because visibly, he looked shaken in that second round, bro. He looked hurt already. So I thought to myself, peak. What am I seeing here? This looks bad. Bad omens.
Yeah. Zhang picked up where he left off. You know what? First round, I was like, okay. Joyce, you saw him trying to do a little bit of head movement. Like you say, circling to the left. Tentative in the sense that he didn't land anything meaningful, but he was pouring out the jab and whatnot. So he's like, okay, cagey first round. But like you say, the start of the second round, he was right in front of Zhang again. And Zhang was starting teeing off and buzzed him, I think, in maybe the middle of the second round.
Yeah.
Buzzed him, looked hurt. I was like, yo. And you know my sentiments of Joyce, so I've never been a huge fan of his start in terms of taking shots to give shots.
Yeah.
Getting pieced up by people and just relying on the chin. I hate the whole chin reliance.
We'll talk about that, Flowz. We'll talk about that because, yeah.
We'll get to it. But yeah, so second round, I don't know what the purpose of doing it for one round was. I really don't.
Look, it's not a purpose thing, Flowz. I've seen enough now, Flowz, to tell me that this guy can't fight any other way. Because you've lost in a certain way, and the simple fact is you change that.
Yeah.
One round and you revert. And he reverted under no pressure, by the way. It wasn't like Zhang forced him to revert, you know what I mean, and crumbled him.
Of his own will, he reverted.
Of his own volition, Flowz, he reverted to type, which tells me, Flowz, that this guy cannot change. This is him. And that is bad news for him, unfortunately, against this type of opponent. Simple. It wasn't the weight to me. This is now coming down to him, Flowz. A leopard can't change his spots clearly with Joyce. He can't change.
He tried it for one round. And I don't think he liked it. I don't think he had any success from it. I gave Zhang the first round. I'll be wrong.
Okay.
Yeah. I gave Zhang the first round. I thought he landed the more meaningful shots.
Yeah. It was very cagey though. It wasn't for both guys.
It was a nothing round.
Yeah,
it was a nothing round. But from what I saw, Zhang landed 2 or 3 body shots, which I thought were more telling than anything Joyce done.
Yeah.
And I think second round he thought, okay, now I don't know, maybe he decided, okay, now the fight's on or something in his head. And that's the only way he did the fight. And yeah, Zhang's quicker hand speed than him, which is because Zhang isn't lightning quick for a heavyweight, but
he's not lightning quick, but he puts them combos together though. He knows how to he's a good combination puncher, very good in fact.
He lets his hands go. He has good timing as well. But Joyce was making him look rap. Joyce makes everyone's hand speed look rapid.
So he makes everyone look. Joyce is slow. He's been slow from day one. Yeah.
So yeah, from second round onwards, he was wobbled, he walked hurt. And then I think he tried to apply his own pressure, come forward.
That's when he started to do
plodding forward again.
Yeah. It was a wrap from them.
But yeah, I think we said last episode that Zhang should be super confident of knowing he can hurt this guy, knowing he can rock and wobble him, knowing he can land at will, because he was landing at will first fight. Yep. And from second round onwards, right back to piecing him up.
The first fight, at least Joyce had the caveat of the eye. He couldn't see from it, so that's why he was getting. But this time there was no eye excuse. He was just getting pieced up at will, which is what we see for most Joyce fights anyways. Yeah. Most of the fights we see him get pieced up. So, yeah, man. Zhang, as you said, picked up where he left off with the combination punch and just started exploding. knew he couldn't miss this guy. Boom, boom, boom. And whereas the first fight, Joyce got wobbled maybe a couple times, but it was the eye that stopped him in the end. This time we're seeing he's noticeably getting wobbled, Flowz. He's noticeably taking a step back and whatnot. And that's when and like I said, the moment he went back to that old style, it was almost a wrap for me because I thought to myself, yeah, game plan out the window. This could get, look, it's not looking good for him, but I was saying that he shouldn't panic because the fact of the matter is Zhang will tire. Zhang won't be able to keep this up. And that's when he can try and get him again. This was in the third round, Flowz, where he started to piece him up. But boy, he should have panicked because we saw what happened in the end. Peach of a set off from Zhang. I think he threw the left hand to the body. And then the right hook, cracked Joyce. Brilliant shot, Flowz. In fact, honestly, it was a beautiful knockout, dirty knockout. But from when it landed, I said, yeah, it's night-night. Joyce, even credit to him for even getting up. Because that shot looked massive. That shot looked serious.
He folded for real.
He folded down, and I thought to myself, yeah, it's a wrap. But I was really shocked to see him actually get to his feet, Flowz, and he actually beat the count. But the referee, obviously he was shaky legged anyways, and I think the referee knew kind of thing like, nah, if I let this carry on, it's a wrap. But yeah, he stopped him like what in the middle of the third round, Flowz. Real dirty knockout. First time we've seen Joyce dropped. Almost one of them knockouts, Flowz, that's just like wow, shockwaves kind of thing. Because I don't say he came out of nowhere, but I don't think he expected it to come out like that, Flowz. You know, that setup with the hook and then the right hook. I don't think I saw it like that, but credit. Amazing shot, bro. Amazing shot.
Yeah, it was actually end of the round because the end of the round bell rang. Yeah,
okay.
The end of because while he was on the floor, the end of the round bell rang. You got fair play to him for even getting up because the way he went down, it was like, yeah, this is over. Yeah, you knew as soon as he went down.
I said it's done. It's done. So when he got up, I said, "Rah!"
He was lost. He was shaken.
Wobbly.
He was. But he tried to get up. He didn't quit in that sense. So, but yeah, piece of a shot by Zhang, and it might be the case where Joyce is come against someone who's just as big and just as powerful, I guess. And like we said,
Flowz, weaker hand as well. That shot, his right hand. I mean, his weaker hand. So yeah, again, this guy can really bang. But yeah, sorry.
Yeah. I mean, Zhang was confident. Like most people, the aura of Joyce's chin is always a question.
Let's talk about the chin, Flowz, because
might as well.
Because I'm there hearing Buncey say, this comment spun me, but it's like, oh yeah, he said it was almost as if Joyce didn't even back it, like he didn't trust his chin in there. I said to myself, what are you saying? This whole every time he mentioned Joyce, the first thing he mentioned is Granite Chin.
Yeah.
This is not a flex. Because it's saying that, he's renowned for getting hit in the face. And being hit in the face is not a flex. I'm so sorry. It needs to stop.
I hate it.
I hate it so much. And Granite Chin, Granite this, Granite that. How are you, instead of mentioning his size, his skill, his boxing ability, you're talking about his chin. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me. It's the aim of the game is hit and not get hit. So for you to be saying, Granite Chin, Granite Chin, Granite Chin, to me, it's such a poor flex. And hey, stones, granite crumbles in the end, bro. You apply enough pressure, you apply enough force, so the stone will break. That's facts. And this is what's happened with Joyce, I think. Flowz, I low-key think the punch resistance is gone. Low-key, I feel like eventually, look, when you keep testing your chin, eventually it's gonna fold. Eventually. Like it can't keep people are fortunate to keep up for the rest of their careers, but eventually, Flowz, the right man will get to you, and then boom, that sets off that chain reaction of, cool, if I get hit hard enough, I'm gonna fold. Joyce gets his chin tested every single fight that we've seen him in since a pro. He gets banged in the chin, and he's able to brush it off, blah 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 blah. But I think eventually that chips away, Flowz. That attrition will keep chipping away until the stone breaks. And I think we've seen it now with Zhang. That's it. So I'm tired. I don't want to hear any talk about Joyce's chin. The myth of his chin is done. It's done. I remember a couple of fights ago, he said, I want to see him versus Wilder. I want to see what will break first. Well, I'm actually happy that fight didn't happen because he would have got murdered. But yeah, man, it's done.
I think we've said on this pod that, look, basically what you're saying now, that there's only so many punches you can keep taking. There's only so long you can have your chin tested before it fails you. All these people who relied on Granite Chins, Kam Flowz, we've seen them touch the canvas. We've seen eventually they touch the canvas.
Yeah.
And look, this time he's come against someone who's just as big. Before Joyce usually towers over his opponents. He's come against someone who's as big as him, 6'6".
Yeah.
Hits hard.
Yeah.
And he's Chin's taken too much punishment over the years because like I say, everyone has landed bombs on him. Huge bombs.
Bro.
Everyone. Like everyone Parker was clapping him with huge shots.
Flowz, Takam. Even was it Dinu, the Romanian Bogdan was slapping him with shots.
All these people pieced him up with huge shots. And Zhang's just as big, hits hard, rocked a one within first fight. And in this fight, he's put him to sleep. So look, even at the time where he stopped Parker, and I think I said it last time, where people were saying, oh yeah, AJ should. I was like, this guy gets hit too much for you to be saying AJ can't stop him.
Yeah.
When you get hit that often, and it's the heavyweights, and you come up against power punches, that's a huge risk. Huge risk. Look, I'm not to say that if he survived, if his chin got him through the first 6 rounds again, he probably would have won. He probably would have done what Joyce does and drowned Zhang. But then it's always an if with that. It's always an if. Because he gets hit way too often. He's slow. He plods forward. He throws shots. The way he throws shots, I've criticized before. It's strange to me. The technique's off.
It's almost as if, like, not from his legs, just like he's raising his arms almost. Flows like,
from like his elbow, he's throwing shots from his elbow, not even from his shoulder these times. From his elbow, he's winging shots. But the pressure's relentless. And look, not to celebrate his defeat, but it just goes to show that chin stuff and he's better work in your defense, everyone.
You say hype train the road, Flowz. Oh no.
It is.
Yeah.
People saying this and that. They'll say he's the third best heavyweight. Even we thought he'd beat Zhang, like people bunk.
No, I feel like you should be beating Zhang. Zhang is a top quality fighter. Don't get me wrong. And I'm happy for Zhang because now he has to get a title shot. I really hope he does get one. We'll talk about that a bit later. But yeah, man, if you want to get to the next stage, you've got to beat Zhang, I think. And he's failed twice. He's been stopped twice. So that's conclusive. Both times. So yeah. And you know how it is in the heavyweights, Flowz. Once other heavyweights see vulnerability, obviously having that aura of being big with a big chin, that mystique is now gone with Joyce. So when other people fight him, they might want to take more risks now and be like, you know what? I can hurt this guy. I can really go for it, and he might fold again. His chin might let him down, blah, blah. So that mystique is now gone, Flowz. But
it's funny. All the big fights that Joyce has had, I've gone against it. I've gone against it.
Yeah. Well, it's the first time you fought for him.
Zhang was like, you know what? I've got
true
because
it's true. Even the Parker, remember, we both were like, Parker's going to win this.
Yeah,
and we were actually we were giving him props. And that's to stop Joseph Parker. That is a big feat. Parker's a tough guy to stop. So fair play to him. I'll give you your props. You're really on my radar now in terms of what. Okay, I can see what you bring to the table, and you can be a tough night's work. But we always said, Flowz, we maintain that this hitting business, how often you get hit, is a worry. It's a big worry. And he hasn't changed, Flowz. He hasn't changed from then. So it is what it is.
Yeah, shout out Zhang because, props to him.
And also,
on his
for his
feet.
quick, the comments crew afterwards as well, saying, "Oh yeah, we've never seen Joyce get hit like this." Blah blah. Stop lying. How does a man renowned for having a granite chin? Does it make sense, Flowz? You claim he has got a granite chin, but you say you've never seen him get hit like this. So it doesn't add up. Clearly, you have seen him get hit like this, which is why he's got this granite chin. Cool. I understand you might never seen him get rocked like this, but that boy gets hit. That boy gets hit. That's a fact. He gets hit.
Every fight.
Yeah,
Daniel, the bar was
teeing off.
Cracking him with unloading.
Yeah.
Parker put away. He said, "Yeah, I'm gonna," because everyone sees what they see.
Yeah,
this guy's there to be hit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Shout
out Joyce as well, to be fair, because look, he's been taking risks. He's been taking risks.
In fact, Flowz, when the first fight was made, I remember I've said this is a risky fight. You know, Zhang is risky. He's very tough to deal with. Casuals might not know him, but he's very well known in heavyweight circles as being someone that is tough, tricky to deal with. He beat Hrgović in most people's eyes. Hrgović wasn't in no rush to ride that back. So Zhang is well known, and so credit to Joyce. Yeah, he's got that Dylan White in him in terms of he's happy to fight anyone. Doesn't matter if he's on the cusp of a title shot or not. Bring on all comers. So I rate that about him. I do rate that he doesn't duck anyone, but unfortunately he's come unstuck here, and that's how it is. But as you said, Flowz, last week the heavyweight division is so trash that you won't be surprised if you see him again, and that's probably true. He can come again. I just don't think that he can get over that threshold of stepping into that world-class elite level. He doesn't beat Fury, doesn't beat Usyk if he fought them, for me. And he'll have to, if he wants to be champ, you have to wait for them man to bounce before he can get champ. But he's never beaten the Fury or Usyk to me. Obviously, punches chance and whatnot, but just in general, if I'm picking the winner, those guys, I think Joyce is below them guys. Because I think Zhang loses to both of them as well. Yeah. But speaking of Zhang, he needs a title shot now. Obviously, he's now mandatory for Usyk. He called out Tyson Fury, but sorry, bro, never gonna happen. Fury's never gonna fight you. Focus on Usyk. Usyk will make that happen. I think Usyk is happy to fight anyone. So, I think Usyk boxes rings around him, but obviously Zhang is dangerous in the first couple of rounds. But I think Usyk, he's able to navigate through those and box rings around him. But at the end of the day, Flowz, I think at 40 years old, he's not getting any younger. It's his time now to get that title shot at least. I'd be happy for him to get at least one title shot before he calls it a day. I think he's earned it and deserved it, to be honest. That's my take on Zhang. So I'm happy for him to get that shot.
Yeah. We'll see what the motivation is for Fury and Usyk. I can't imagine Fury wanting to fight Zhang.
He's not fighting.
He's after the money. He'll probably do some WWE, some UFC features.
Yeah.
Probably call that John Jones next.
Yep.
And then Usyk, he's done it. He's given enough to the sport in my eyes.
You're happy to see Usyk retire, isn't it?
Yeah, I think. Look, the Tyson Fury fights, all there is. Really,
yeah, it is. Yeah,
it's all that's left. The undisputed, and maybe I think Tyson Fury should be stripped. Should be
100.
stripped, and then wherever. I think Usyk wants the undisputed fight. If that's available for him, then he would take his mandatories and do that. But if it's not, then I think he might go the payday route as well. Might start doing exhibitions or something, because the boxing fights aren't being made. It's exhibitions that are being made. So I don't know. I have no high hopes for the heavyweight division in terms of action. So, and at this point, I'm not even going to point fingers and blame do the blame game. Maybe Usyk will more likely fight Deontay Wilder because there's more money in it. If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So who knows? But hopefully Zhang does get a shot. He deserves it. No doubt.
Facts. Yeah. It'd be criminal, I think, if Zhang retires with no shot, to be honest. But yeah. And yeah, Joyce, he'll come again, Flowz. I don't think he's gonna call it a day now. He's got to rebuild. Dylan White's there, them type of guys are there. But yeah, I just feel like we've seen the limit of how far I can go, to be honest, Flowz. That's it with him, to be honest. Yeah, man. I mean, no shame, but I just feel like that elite threshold he can't cross. And that 38, Flowz. He's not. We know what he needs to learn add to his game, and clearly he's not going to learn it. So, yeah, that's just how it is, man. If he's unfortunate enough to face a guy who hits harder than him or he slaps like really cracks, then it could be peak for him. That's it, really. Like Wilder kills him. So yeah.
You know what I said? AJ and Joyce set up. Remember when AJ tweeted that I stopped this guy in the amateurs? And we both said we know exactly how it went.
Yeah. Facts.
It was a first round stoppage, I believe.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Yeah. We know exactly how it
went. Walked onto it, bang.
Got beat up. Look, so AJ was the and him and AJ had their back and forth. So I think that's a good fight.
Yeah, they've got history, as we know. Yeah. Yeah. Both Olympians and whatnot, and yeah, I think they've sparred multiple times. Lots of stories about Joyce dropping him in spar, all that kind of stuff. So yeah. Before I was a bit more worried, but you know what? It's still a worrying fight for AJ, to be fair, because Joyce is strong, but
AJ's tentative.
And this current AJ I'm still worried about, but yeah, it's a fight that it won't go the distance. It won't go for sure. I think someone's getting bagged out. So yeah. Undercard quickly Flowz. Might as well quickly touch upon it. We don't have to dwell on it, but return Anthony Yard. I don't know the opponent's name. I know it was a late replacement. Flowz, I feel like you might have some words for this because he was pissed off at this fight. Just at the matchmaking in terms of so Flowz, I'll give you the floor because I know you was vexed.
It's my problem with boxing at this point. Because at this point we've seen a lot of undercards. This is the co-main event of this fight. It's not pay-per-view, so cool. A co-main event, and it's not even a competitive fight. Granted, late replacement or whatnot, but it's typical of boxing where if you just scroll down the odds for most of these fights, there's a huge favorite versus a massive underdog. And in a sport, the definition of a sport is it has to be competitive, or it has to be that's what a sport is.
A good spectacle for the viewer, right? So yeah,
it's competition, it's competitiveness. These fights are competitive, and I don't know how much Anthony Yard's going to gain from training for however long to come in there and do 2 rounds against a guy who's a soup can essentially.
Yeah.
It's obviously he gets some time with the 10-ounce gloves and whatnot, no head guards and whatnot, but it's glorified punching bag session. It was a 5 minutes in there against a punch bag. It's not what Anthony Yard needs. It's the story of his career. He fights these NPCs and these side characters.
NPCs.
And goes there against the big bosses.
Yeah.
And it's true. He falls short. He falls short every time because he hasn't sharpened his tools against the necessary opponents. Not this one, no fault of his own, whatever. But hopefully we see him against worthy competition before he steps in with a Watsy or Aziz or goes back and runs it with a Bivol, because he's 32. He's 32 now. So
yeah,
boy, it was just not a fight we needed to see. Not even a fight I really wanted to talk about, but it's damning on boxing again. Yeah.
I mean, he can only beat who gets put in front of him. But and yeah, as you said, late replacement, so you might cut him a bit of slack for that. It was this is his first fight since Bertobiev, so it was a kind of ring rust, kind of shake out the cobwebs kind of thing. But my issue is with Yard. Sometimes we see it; he goes from this to world title or world level opponent, and that's just not the right preparation for him. So I hope that we can see him having 2 more fights, of him getting back to where he needs to be, good competition, before we see him in a world title fight again or a top level contender, because we want to see Yard win at the end of the day, and he's good enough to win. He really showed himself in Bertobiev how good he can be, but he just needs the right preparation. Simple. So hopefully we see him again, much better level competition, at least 2 more times before we see him step into a top contender fight. But yeah, that's it for that card, Flowz. Let's touch upon quickly the Zepeda Richardson card that was over in America. I had some question marks over this fight in the sense that Richardson is a very good prospect, but I wasn't too sure if this was too soon for him against a very, very seasoned veteran in Jose Zepeda. Flowz. Richardson Hitchins, yeah, is very, very good. He dominated a game, a world level Jose Zepeda. Zepeda's only lost to champions. He's challenged for the title 3 times, and given contenders and good fight, champions, good fights. Flowz, I gave him 1 round. Got absolutely dominated, pieced up by Richardson, who to me has announced himself at 140 as a contender for sure. This Flowz, this kid is very, very good, very impressive. He fights behind the jab. He's very hard to. His style is going to be very difficult to beat. It's similar to Devin Haney's Flowz in terms of it's on the back foot kind of. He can box forward or going back, but he's very difficult to hit clean. Fights behind the jab. He's got a very, very good long, very good 1-2. And he's also Flowz. He's very long for the weight class. He's at 140. He's about 5'10", got a really long reach. So his size is going to pose a really big issue, I think. And Zepeda couldn't get in. Like he was trying to get in, trying to rush him, got pieced up with a jab. But I think by round 3, you're seeing him marked up under the eye because he was eating jabs all night. Defensively, very good to hit, very good, twitchy, knows when to clinch, knows when to shoulder roll. I liked what I saw a lot, Flowz. I really did. I think Hitchins is a very, very good prospect, one to look out for. And it was a top quality performance against a top quality competitor. However, Flowz.
Yeah, I know. I know.
However, I don't say I have a bone to pick with boxing fans or casuals or whatnot, but
yeah,
obviously when you see someone that's super skilled, who fights a certain way, he's already been given the Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson tag. And what I mean by that, listeners, is they're already branding him boring, hard to market, puts people to sleep in terms of not knocking out, but in terms of, night sleepy time. And I don't like that, Flowz, to be honest, because just because someone is skilled doesn't mean that they're boring. Obviously, casual fans like to see knockouts and, press forward, blah, blah, swinging and whatnot. That's not what boxing's about, though. It's about hit and not get hit. And Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson are suffering from this right now in terms of they're being labeled as boring. Nobody wants to see them, blah, blah, because they're too skilled. And I feel like this Hitchins guy is kind of similar to that in terms of he's very, very skilled. And I think because he's young, Flowz, I can cut him some slack in terms of he's still learning. I think as he progresses his career, he will learn when he needs to, force the issue, for example, and start to sit down on his punches. We've seen Shakur. Shakur now tends to, when he has an opponent hurt, he will look to try and get him out there and really sit down on his punches. When Shakur first started, he was kind of, boxing, not get, hit and not get hit, not try and force the issue. I think that will, and Haney's tried it as well. He tried to stay in the pocket a couple of times and box and really sit down and try to get his guys out there. Obviously, from a marketability aspect, you kind of need to learn that because obviously that's how you get the money, the big offers, blah, blah. But Richardson, again, this is what his 16th fight. He's still learning. That will come, I feel like. But there's no need to get on his back now and be like, yeah, he's boring, he's dry. Oh, Tesco value, Devin Haney, blah, blah. Him and Haney will be the most boring fight in the world, etc., etc. Chill, man. It's a skilled young fighter who is boxing. This is what boxing is. And that will come. That's what I had to, those comments I didn't like, Flowz. But this kid is very, very talented, bro. Like, I was very impressed. I like him a lot.
I think a lot of people compare these man to Tank. Tank obviously has the explosive knockout power.
Yeah.
Great knockout record. But these fighters with extensive amateur backgrounds, you can see the amateur training. It's the foundations, the basis of boxing you need to have, and that's the skill part.
Yeah.
I find mainly Americans really. They want to see knockouts. They want to see. It's a lot of American casuals. Let me say, the casuals. If you're not knocking people out, then you're not entertaining them. You see how they clamor for Golovkins and Tank because of the knockouts, the highlight rule knockouts. So when you're not getting that, and it's once again, if it's a shot I win and it's not against someone they don't know, they think, oh, boring, not entertaining, not interesting. So he should just focus on himself, focus getting the wins,
Yeah.
And like you see with Shakur now, where Shakur's really trying to get people out there, show you means business.
Yeah.
Like you say, it will come.
I think it will come, yeah. But look out for him, listeners. Richardson Hitchins, he's announced himself 140. He called out, obviously, Tiafimo. He wants to be, obviously, he's from Brooklyn as well. So he said, that'd be a great fight for Brooklyn. If not, the window of Devin Haney, Regis Prograis, he wants. I've said it before, obviously, he's had back and forth with both of them guys anyways. As I said, all these guys know each other very well. So, he's in camps with Keyshawn and Shakur. So he's on that side of the table, I guess. So, yeah, man, he's very, very good, though, man. I like him. He's humble as well. I like his personality. And that division, as we said, Flowz, is cracking. It's cracking. So, yeah, look out for Richardson Hitchins. Very, very good win. All right, Flowz. We got to touch upon Conor Benn, of course. We'll be remiss not to. His return against a Mexican fighter called Orozco. Flowz, when I went to look at the opponent first and foremost when the fight was made, I'm there and I'm seeing 6'1". I said, huh? Wait, how? And then I clocked that this guy's actually he's a middleweight. And then I've deeped that this fight is actually at 154. So this is Benn's first fight at 154 pounds. I was like, okay, it makes sense. I was like, 6'1" welterweight? What the hell is this? Throwback. But yeah, this is Benn's return. Obviously, Flowz. Obviously, it's been very, very well documented. The issues he's faced currently outside the ring with the bans and whatnot. Still ongoing, to be honest. Lots of question marks, but he's got his first fight back in America, which in itself was a conversation to be had, I guess. But focus on his return, Flowz, and the fight itself. I don't know. Did you catch it, or do you see highlights? Or
saw highlights. I didn't watch the full thing.
To be frank, Flowz, Benn pieced this guy up. It was actually a very entertaining fight because this opponent, Orozco, he had 38 fights. I think maybe 3 or 4 losses, 24 wins by KO. He was game as hell. And he kept coming forward, Flowz. Pressure. Huh?
Typical Mexican.
That typical Mexican. Do you know what you reminded me of, Flowz?
Who?
Margarito.
Yeah.
Tall, lanky, rangy, chin, crazy chin, just coming forward, applying pressure, not really moving his head, not very skilled. That's exactly what Margarito was to me. And he kept coming all night, Flowz. And Benn was cracking this guy with all his biggest shots and whatnot. Beautiful shots, by the way. Some of these shots, well set up, well executed. And this guy wasn't budging, just coming forward. So it made it exciting because even though this guy was clearly losing and getting pieced up, he was game, he kept coming forward, and he was still throwing despite him getting pieced up. So it was a 10-rounder, but as a return for Conor Benn, very in terms of shaking off the cobwebs and getting back into it, really good fight for him, to be honest, because this guy was game, competitive, and he had to be on his A game throughout. And he was able to flex, I guess, some of his boxing skills and show some of his movement and that kind of stuff. So nice return for him. I think he won every round clearly. Maybe 1 or 2 I might have given to Orozco, but yeah, it was more or less a shutout. But Flowz, what killed me was people are so funny. Obviously, watching their fight, the commentary say not commentators, but the people like dropping comments on like Reddit or Twitter. They're like, these bed shots ain't got the same steam anymore, have they?
Allow it.
Oh, they said, he's not really hurting these guys, is he? Interesting.
He's looking smaller.
Flowz, they were saying the shots have no pop. The shots ain't got the same pop anymore. Huh? It's very interesting. Why is that? I said, oh no, you lot avoid it. You lot taking the piss. Oh,
look,
man.
This guy, I looked at his record. Never been stopped.
Yep.
Had a good KO record.
Yep.
Decent as well.
Yep.
Hasn't beaten anyone of note or whatnot. But when it's a Mexican, I'm always wary.
I'm always on edge. He's always worried.
Because they come out of nowhere and start dealing with our British fighters. So, but Conor Benn looks good, looks sharp.
Yeah.
Good test as a comeback. And at 154, the guy looks much bigger than him. But
he looked tiny compared to this guy.
Obviously, we know what Conor Benn's plans are. Even, even though after the fight, he was talking about the 147-pounders again, saying he's coming for the crowd.
But again, Flowz, I don't even know because he said that after the fight, but then I watched his interview on IFL, and he kept mentioning obviously Eubank.
Yeah.
In terms of he wants Eubank, they're going to try and make that happen. He says he's happy to come up to 160 to do that. If not, he's happy to stay at 154. And if there's no fight to 154 for him, he'll go to 147 and you know what he's on down there. And bro, even as a welterweight, Flowz, at 147, sorry, we said that this guy was small.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen it at 154 now. He looks tiny. Now, I'm not going to imply that the reason why he weren't able to be stopping this guy compared to the welterweights was because of his situation. I just purely think it's the size thing, Flowz. He wasn't tremendously powerful at 147 like that. He's gone to 154, and he kept saying in his post-fight that the difference is he felt good, but the difference was that, these guys, they can take a lot more punishment compared to. He was like, oh yeah, if I was on 147, those shots would have knocked out all these welterweights. But he's at 154, so he can take the punches a lot better. I'm there thinking to myself, bro, it's not that you're just too small, and you're not exactly known for your huge power beforehand, anyway. So if he plans on staying at 154, 160 Flowz, he's gonna have a serious issue with size and stopping these guys. Power. Those two things are gonna be a massive, massive deterrent for him. So for me, bro, forget this 154, 160. Go back to 147 and campaign there. I even think you're a bit small in that weight class, but you can hang. But if he plans to do
big guys punch, the big guys punch out of that too. So
exactly, yeah. Look at Boots. Boots is stopping all his opponents. Like Virgil Ortiz, stopping all these guys. There's real punchers down there. You're not even one of them. So how do you think you compete at 154 and 160 as a puncher? It's mad to me. Because Benn's a pressure, he's a pressure guy. Like he comes forward and he likes to load his hands and whatnot. So yeah, man. Unfortunately though, Flowz, I think it's inevitable. The Eubank fight's gonna happen. They're gonna make it happen. There's too much money in it, too much interest in it, apparently, from just the public. That's what's probably gonna be next. And I think he's gonna go up to 160 to do that because I think he said, I've shown that I can operate at a higher. I said, I've shown I can operate at a higher weight class. 160 is no problem for me. Easy to make. So boy.
The performance was good. He looked good. He looked sharp. Like I said, before this nonsense, we were talking about how he's one of the most improved fighters.
Yeah.
Just like a skill level, not even talking about power, explosiveness, and all that. At a skill level, he's definitely improved. And you can see he's been in camp. He's still been training. He looked sharp. So given that, and you've got to give Ben his credit for being a mouthpiece, for being vocal, for being active outside of the ring. He loves it. He does love it. The chattings, loves the social media thing, back and forth with the Americans, engaging with all of them. So he's boosting his profile in that sense. But you better stay away from the killers at 147. If running to Eubank Jr. is the best thing for him, do that. He's talking. His boots. He posted something saying he's coming forward the welterweights, and I was like, look at the names on that list.
Yeah,
are you sure? Crawford?
Yeah, crazy.
But shout him out. Look good to have him back, regardless of the issues and whatnot. The whole sport needs a shake up in that sense. But I ain't gonna stop a fighter from fighting, especially one who's ambitious. Well, sort of ambitious and improving.
For me, I don't want a Eubank fight. I feel like just go to 147 campaign there. But hey, man, he's his own man. I know the bread's nice, so it's hard to say no in it, Flowz. So yeah, that's that. Just to quickly round off that card as well, Flowz. McCaskill, Ryan. Flowz, McCaskill didn't look good again, man. She looked bad again. And in fact, most people are saying that she actually lost that fight. It was given a draw in the end, but a lot of people are saying that Ryan was robbed. And look, I mean, I think Sonny Edwards was on commentary. He was straight away was like, "Nah, that's a terrible decision. Like judges have done Ryan dirty, that kind of stuff. These are the kind of results that make people hate boxing, etc." Like she struggled again, man. She hasn't. She's fortunate to have these belts, I can't lie, Flowz. Ever since beating Breakhouse, she hasn't looked great, McCaskill. So
it's annoying. No, it's not annoying because every time I back these fighters that just struggle, they pull up huge wins.
Josh Taylor. We've already booked Josh Taylor and then he struggled.
Look, McCaskill, I said, look, I've seen her struggle too many times to beat Breakhouse. Too many. The rematch, I said, nah, Breakhouse is going to right that wrong, upset me again.
Yeah.
And then since then, she's the McCaskill back to struggling again. I haven't watched the fight in full. I've seen highlights. It looks, once again, shout out to women's boxing. It looks like they went
barnstormer, a
spectacle.
Yeah.
But the word on the street is robbery again. And I can't comment because I haven't seen the full fight. So I'll verify if it's a robbery or not. I hope they're not using robbery the same way they've been using it for a long time.
Yeah.
But the rounds I saw, it seemed competitive. It seemed close. Whether that was the story of the fight, I can't say. But yeah, if it was, then I feel sorry for Sandy Ryan because she's been doing her thing, and McCaskill hasn't been lately.
Because it was a draw, Flowz, they'll probably run it back. Because it was a draw, I suspect they'll run it back, and we'll see. Yeah. Shout out to Sandy, shout out to McCaskill for women's boxing. It looked like it was a great fight. All right, Flowz. We've got two cards to talk about next week. I want to get the quickly get one out of the way real quick. And I just want to mention that's Jai Opetaia against he's defending in the UK against a UK fighter called Jordan Thompson, undefeated UK cruiserweight. I think his best win probably Luke Watkins, which was his last fight. He stopped Luke Watkins.
But title shot?
Well, that was funny enough. That was funny because that was for the IBF European cruiserweight title. But as you know, Flowz, they've had to move down the list for Opetaia because this was originally meant to be the fight that Richard Yakpour had, which they pulled out, and I guess they've been searching for opponents, and they landed with Jordan Thompson. So fair play to Jordan. He got he stepped up to the plate. Opetaia, we know he's good. We saw the way he beat Paredes. We were very, very impressed. So I expect him to come through this nicely. I don't expect this to do much in terms of selling tickets and whatnot. I feel like it's interesting that it's happening over here in London. Maybe they try and build his profile over here. If he maybe pulls out a statement win, it'd be good for him and good for his profile. But that's this weekend as well, Flowz. Opetaia.
If Opoli stayed at the zone of Matthew, maybe that could have been him unifying. But anyway,
absolutely. And actually, Cody could have easily got his title back after what happened with who knows? But it's worth mentioning as well, Flowz. Ellie Scotney's also on the undercard. She's defending her IBF World Super Bantamweight title as well against a chick called Laura Griffer, who she should come through quite easily, I feel like, based on what I can see of this Griffer's record. Shout out to Ellie, shout out to Jai. That's on Matchroom The Zone. But Flowz, let's get to the meat and bones, the main event next week, what we're here to talk about. Canelo Alvarez, Jermell Charlo is finally here. Man, Flowz, obviously this isn't the Charlo brother we originally expected him to fight, but based on circumstances outside the ring, we knew that if it's going to be one Charlo brother, it's going to be Mel. Credit to Mel for stepping up to the plate, Flowz. He's moving up to 168 to challenge. He's gone up 2 weight classes. Obviously, most of the detractors have said that this is a joke of a fight because of the fact that he's 2 weight classes up. But as we've pointed out many times in this pod, Flowz, it's not as far-fetched as it seems because of the fact that naturally Mel was bigger than Canelo by quite a bit, to be fair. So not to say he can automatically makes him a super middleweight, but it's not as big of a jump as you expect. Credit to Mel, Flowz. I'm going to come out with from the gate, Flowz. I don't expect Jermell Charlo to beat Canelo. I'll be so honest. I think he'll be competitive in portions. He's a good fighter, Jermell. Very, very good fighter. But it's just levels again, Flowz. We talk about levels a lot on this pod, and I feel like the levels that Canelo has shown is just above in terms of who Canelo's been in there with as well. Mel was undisputed in his weight class, amazing feat. But I mean, if I look at Canelo's undisputed run at 168, it's more impressive to me. It's a lot more impressive to me. I'll be so real. So yeah, man, I think Canelo wins this fight, and Flowz, I'll be so real. I think Canelo's going to stop Jamal Charlo. I think he stops him.
Right.
I think he stops him. I've really got a feeling that he can stop him, and of course he can. I think he will.
Yeah.
I think Mel's gonna have to rely on his boxing, I think, a lot, and his movement, which is what he's gonna try and do. Back foot, similar to how he fought. What's his name?
Brian.
No. Argentinian brother. I always forget his name, but he's called.
Yeah, Castaño.
Castaño, yes, Brian. Yeah, Brian Castaño.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry, I couldn't
remember his surname, but yes, Castaño. Yeah.
Brian Castaño in the first fight where he was almost on the back foot. I feel like probably because I guess the pressure that Castaño put him under. But that's sort of blueprint in terms of how Castaño fought that fight, in terms of coming forward, really good head movement, good lateral movement to avoid the jab and to get in on his chest. We've seen Canelo can do that in the Flowz in spades at an elite world-class level. Yeah, I feel like obviously in the second fight, Charlo, he wrote the wrongs and he was a lot more aggressive, which is what he needed to be. But I feel like being aggressive against Canelo also comes with a lot of risks, Flowz, because we know Canelo naturally is an elite counterpuncher. So I struggle to see where Mel will have serious success. Obviously, I know he's very athletic, quick as well, can also bang, but I don't expect him to rock Canelo. We've seen 175-pounders fail to rock Canelo. So I don't see how Mel's starting him down on the power. Mel was even the weaker of the two twins in terms of power punching normally. So I don't see how Mel's going to rock him. Just from a stylistic standpoint, Flowz, I feel like it's just going to be tough for him. That pressure Canelo's going to apply to him, the body work, etc. He will eventually break him down. So I suspect to see Mel on his bike not on his bike, but just fighting on the back foot. And that's his best bet, I guess, to get points off. But I don't think ultimately Flowz, it'll be futile.
I don't even think that would be his game plan, but we'll see.
Do you think he's being aggressive?
Yeah, he's with what's it called? What's their coach's name?
Well, Derek James.
Derek James. Have you seen Derek James be defensive?
Not defensive, but we saw in that first Castaño fight how he fought that fight in terms of he was on the back foot throughout. I would even say the Harrison 2 fight. He wasn't but he was letting Harrison dictate and come forward on him.
Yeah, I think that's more Mel when he's not as confident. I think that's a confidence thing with him, because when he lets that happen, he doesn't look as good. He's never done it where he looks good. If that makes sense.
He looks best when he's aggressive. Yeah, Mel should. Yeah,
it looks like he's not.
Can you do that against Canelo, Flowz?
We'll see. Look, the big thing with me is, yes, Mel has never operated this weight, but it's more a case of he has to cut less weight than he would normally cut because. But it's the inactivity, bro. He's coming off an injury or surgery, I believe.
Yep.
Hand surgery.
Yeah.
He's been inactive. He hasn't fought this year. Fought once last year. Fought once the year before. Fought once the year before that. In that time, Canelo's fought 6 or 7 times in like the last 3 years. Minimum, he's done 2 a year.
Yeah. Let me. Well, keep talking. I'm gonna. Do check from 2019.
The reason we praise Canelo so much is because he's been active. And with that, you're moving up 2 weight classes, you're coming off an injury, you've been inactive, you're already fighting at a deficit, in the words of Kenny Porter. So
just to say, Flowz, since 2019, including 2019 to now, Mel's fought 5 times, Canelo's fought 9 times. So he's almost doubled his output.
Which is, crazy. Obviously, the pandemic happened. That kind of hindered everyone's activity. Yeah. But since then, one's been active, one hasn't. One's fought a high level opposition.
Yeah.
One hasn't. I'm not sure if he stops Mel. He could. I'm not saying he can't, but we've seen Canelo fail to stop a few of his recent opponents. Ones that he should stop in John Ryder, in Golovkin.
You're cheeky.
Yeah, that's tongue in cheek, listeners. Before you go,
it's cheeky.
But yeah, so maybe he wants to make a statement of Mel and get him out there, but should be a good fight. And I'm backing Canelo to win. I just think Mel's fighting at a deficit here. And yeah, even if he thought he could do it, he could definitely do it. It's possible. People say Canelo's on the decline. Mel's aggressive and strong. But yeah,
young hungry lion.
Even though he's older than Canelo.
Also, I just wanted to mention as well, Flowz, like looking at opponents from 2019 to now, Canelo's fought Daniel Jacobs, Kovalev, Callum Smith, Yildirim, Billy Joe Saunders, Caleb Plant, Bivol, Triple G, and John Ryder. I'm just going to go through Charlo's opponents 2019 to now. Jorge Cota, Tony Harrison, Jason Rosario, Brian Castaño twice. So if we're looking at the caliber of opposition Flowz, it's just so heavily skewed in Canelo's favor as well. Not just the activity, but the caliber as well, who he's been in there with. So,
These times, I can't even say what Mel's record would be against those Canelo opponents.
Yeah.
I can't even say.
Yeah, that's a fair point, yeah.
He comes away with all, well, Canelo lost one.
Yeah.
I'm looking at that. Maybe Mel loses 4 or 5.
3 or 4.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Especially at the weight classes that Canelo was moving up and down, because that's across weight classes.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
that was from what, middleweight to flipping light heavy. So
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's 160 to 175. So
mad.
Yeah.
I will say this as well, Flowz. Obviously, I wasn't exactly for this fight. My plan for Mel was obviously get that fight on with Tim Tszyu. And then obviously, he wins that Tim Tszyu bout. Obviously, he's undisputed. He's done what he has to do at 154. He can now move up and go to 160 and fight some of the champions there, etc. And that was initially the plan. Obviously, Tim Tszyu fight got postponed because of his injury, and obviously then the Canelo fight popped up. So I don't blame him, Flowz, because it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. We've spoken about how powerful the Canelo lottery is and how big it is for fighters. This is going to be the biggest payday of his career by miles. So you take these opportunities, right? So I don't blame him in that. Like, fair enough. I was like, oh damn, but I think to myself, yeah, it's Canelo. Who says no? You can't say no to Canelo. You actually can't. That kind of P Flowz, that's crazy. You can't say no to that bag.
Life changing.
Yeah. For real life, we've seen men who don't fight again after fighting Canelo. Billy Joe Saunders, we've seen him recently, ballooned in weight. Like, he's never coming back. So it's like, man, that Canelo stimmy is serious. So I don't blame him for taking it. Enjoy these moments. Biggest fight of your career, and he does himself a good service, Flowz, if he looks good in terms of he's probably not going to win, but he makes it somewhat competitive, or he does better than what everyone thinks he can do, which I wouldn't be surprised. Like I said, Charlo is a world-class fighter, top fighter. So I've got nothing against him. It's just he's up against one of the GOATs, man. Simple as. And I hope Big Bro's in the crowd watching as well. I hope he gets hype as well. And, him and Canelo can go back and forth. And like, you're next, maybe. You can ginger Jamar to get back in the ring as well, because we haven't seen him for almost 3 years now. So still champion though. But yeah.
That's great.
But we know what the plan is, I guess, with PBC Canelo. Charlo again, maybe, as in the bro, and Benavidez at some point as well. Those are the guys, obviously, that we expect him to see him in with. Obviously, the Errol Spence talk is kind of called, Flowz. So for obvious reasons, but should be a good fight. We expect to see the usual PBC rabble Flowz in the crowd for the chokers on. There'll probably be a
Probably
fight or two. Yeah, in the crowd because
Probably a
there's
few
always a fight.
celebs as well there.
Couple NBA players, couple football players. You know how it is. Singers, rappers, couple fights.
Yeah.
It's usually a couple flare ups of these fights. I wonder if Caleb Plant's gonna be there.
Entourages.
So I'll be there on Fight Hub, checking the interviews of that Flowz. Bruno will be there, I'm sure. You know the usual characters.
Yeah.
But yeah, the typical PBC night. It's in Vegas, isn't it? So
yeah,
we just know it. Like
so.
Again, Canelo in Vegas is always already skewed. So yeah, it is what it is. But I don't think he needs the Vegas skewing for this one. I think he's good enough to beat Charlo comfortably without.
Yeah.
Not being comfortably, but I think he's good enough to beat him without having any dodgy scorecards and whatnot. But yeah.
I will say as well, actually, for the people who are criticizing Canelo for saying, why are you bringing up someone from 2 weight classes below? Canelo's done the same thing. He went from Danny Jacobs to Kovalev, didn't he?
Yeah.
Jumps up 2 weight classes.
Yeah.
Well, we can discuss the Kovalev fight on another day, but yeah, he stops Kovalev.
Same year as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's something he's not doing anything that he ain't done himself.
Yeah.
So yeah, we say Mel's dimensions are bigger than Canelo's.
Bigger than Canelo's, yeah. Yeah, there's a throwback photo of both of the twins next to Canelo, and they're towering over him. They're actually towering. Canelo's 5'7", Mel is what 5'11". Like that's a good couple of. I'm not gonna say that. That's hella pause worthy, but yeah, that's a lot of height.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you see Canelo do his press tour on the Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
And other places saying even at 147, these men are bigger than him. So
yeah, exactly. Big facts.
He's just
a freak.
Yeah, he's just on a madness. He's what Kevin Benn's trying to be. So man, don't try this at home, man. Stay where you are.
For real. On the undercard Flowz, just mention you got you guys on the undercard. I think this is his first fight since the Spence loss. He's fighting Mario Barrios for the interim WBC welterweight title. So that's a decent co-main event, I guess. Got a lot of time for Ugas, good fighter. Good to see him back because that Spence fight was brutal. Obviously, what happened to him. So, good to see him there. I'm just trying to look at who else is on the undercard. I see Lubin's on the undercard as well. He's fighting a undefeated American guy called Jesus Alejandro Ramos Jr. Not too clued up on this guy, but he's undefeated. So, yeah, it might be good for Lubin for that one. But yeah, no, it seems to be some decent fights on the undercard. So it should be all in all Flowz a good night of boxing for PBC. But yeah, I look forward to seeing the fight, how it plays out. Always good. Always got time to watch Canelo in action. You know, it's a big night for boxing. And we'll see what happens next afterwards, isn't it? But I think Flowz, I think that's what I've got on my list to talk about today. You got anything else you want to add, Flowz? No, we can round up. I saw one crazy piece of news actually, Flowz, but I aired it because I didn't believe it. I don't know if it's true. I hope it's not true, but I just completely aired it because I thought, you know what, Gervonta Davis' next fight. I don't know if you saw it.
What was it? I saw something stupid. I think I ignored it as well.
Aired it.
I ignored it.
Keith Furman catch rate 145. I said, yeah, get the hell out. I closed the app. I said, F off.
I aired it as well. I didn't even send it to you.
We usually send each other stuff. Yeah. I didn't even bother. I said, I just closed it. I said, do one. Nonsense.
So, that's a lie.
It better look, Flowz. If anyways, I don't want to think about that ever happening because I'll be livid, Flowz. I'll be livid.
Yeah, I don't believe that one.
I did because Calvin Ford has come out and said that Tank's next fight is coming out soon. It's a big secret, but it's a big fight. So that's when obviously I thought, surely not. Please don't say that, please.
Yeah.
Because they're both getting cornered if that fight happens. I'm sorry, they're both getting smoke from me. Hella smoke. And PBC as well.
That's funny. Nah, that can't be that.
Yeah.
I did see rumored was Benavidez versus Boo Boo. Demetrius Andrade.
Okay. Yeah, because the Benavidez
Morale fight.
It fell through, right? It's not happening.
Yeah.
Which is good for Morale, to be fair, because I thought it was too early for him, but yeah.
But apparently Benavidez and Demetrius Andrade.
Yeah, I did see that
pay-per-view in November, apparently. So pay-per-view is crazy, but it's smart.
I'm going to say pay-per-view, but we know who really we know who's bringing in the money. It's Benavidez. It's Boo Boo riding off the coattails.
Yeah, and they'll just build up the win against Canelo, so it's like a Canelo pay-per-view.
Elimination. Nice.
Yeah.
It's a good fight. It's a very good fight.
Great
I'll see that.
But I hope it's being made. I really do. That's PBC.
We said
big things if they make
they
that.
They need to fight each other, right, Flowz, and earn the right to fight Canelo, right? We said it before.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, cool.
I like the sound of that one. The other one, nah.
No, the other one better not be true, because the way I aired it, real quick, I was livid. I said, yeah, F off. Boxing would do one if that's the case. But yeah. Yeah, it's called a day there, Flowz. It's been episode 161 of the SZN Podcast. Once again, I've been your boy Cam.
Boy Flowz.
And as always, guys, keep supporting us. Peace.
You taking a strap? I'm strapped up.
What was that about?
Let's make the fight happen. We strapped the fuck up.